we met straight off, and I needed to know who was around me starting to get into work and whatnot. And I wanted to get to know you because I've seen and done research on who you are and what you've done, but I really want to take about 10 minutes just to know who you are as a person.
As a person or as a coach, as a leader, as what?
So the coach hat,
Yeah.
to take it off, and then we'll take Mario as just Mario. Let's find out. So in a world full of judgment and expectations, would you say you have reached your expectations looking back on what you have accomplished?
Yeah, for myself, I mean, it's a deep question already. So no, look, I'm very proud of what I have accomplished in the sense of, as a young player, right? You always want to play professionally, but I always knew I was going to coach. I started coaching at a very, very young age, and I really enjoyed it. Not to say I didn't love football, like playing, I love it. But there was always something that I wanted to do. I started coaching, 15 with my local club, just helping out and continued. And then, I always set goals for myself. And, ultimately, one of my goals was to coach the full national team. Now, I'm okay now at 50 to say that probably won't happen. You never know, but probably won't. But no, ultimately, to be a Division I coach, for 20 years was a huge accomplishment. And then to get in the pro game and be a head coach at the professional level, ironically, both on the men and the women's side. Very, very proud and happy. And I can look myself in the mirror every day and say, I'm proud of what I've done and what have I accomplished. And I'm still a young buck, though.
Yeah. I didn't know you were 50.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's a secret. Don't tell no one.
Would you say from the other perspective, as in your closest family, would you like them to look at you and say, well, my dad, my husband, you have siblings?
Oh, yeah, there's 7 of us.
Really?
Yeah.
My brother and sister, would you like them to look at you and say, well, Mario has done what he set out to do?
Actually, no. I would more the opposite of them to say, not the opposite, but for them to say he's a good person. For my wife to say he's a good husband, for my kids to say he's a good dad, and my siblings to say he's a good, brother. My parents to say he's a good son. So I would never, on anyone, my own family, friends, I would never want to label somebody based on, kind of what they do, accomplish, because I think that's very narrow-minded. And I know enough in life, they've done enough study, a lot of it's just even where you're born. There's a lot of brilliant people out there who, because they're born in a different country, different city, different economic background, don't have the same opportunity. It doesn't make them any less. So, I could probably say if we have a game, I'm coaching, they follow and all that. But when we're all together, it's about who we are as people, and I think that's the most important thing in life.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we share that same type of way of approaching what we do as well as who we are.
Yeah.
And with you as well, you mentioned your family already, and I asked you questions already about how many siblings you have. You said 7.
Yeah, there's 4 sisters, 2 brothers. So I'm 5 of 7.
5 of 7.
I was number 5. Yeah.
So you're around the middle child range.
A little bit, yeah. Middle child syndrome. Yeah, that's me.
Do you fit that persona? You think that middle child syndrome?
I guess. I mean, I do a lot of reading and leadership and all that. And, they say sometimes the middle child likes to stay under the radar and just, you know what I mean? So that part, not that I love the limelight, but I like being, if you're going to be a coach, you're going to be, or a player, you're somewhat in the limelight. So, so I don't know if I fit totally the middle child syndrome. I'm definitely not the baby of the family. I know that. My oldest sister, who's, the first one born, she's got a great personality. She is definitely she has a lot of responsibility, and she's always lived up to that. So, I think I'm closer to, being that firstborn versus the baby of the family. Yeah.
Family, because it's a big family with 7 kids. 7 kids, you're the 5th one. That means each of them, one of them would have at least children, just like how you have children as
Yeah.
well. That's a big family.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of nephews and nieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that important to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have 4 kids ourselves, but I think there's 25, 26 grandchildren on my side. Family's everything. I mean, we've sacrificed, my family has sacrificed, my wife has sacrificed a lot for me, for my career. But one thing, ironically, my 4 kids, us living away from the rest of my family has actually been pretty cool because we've learned to rely on each other.
Yeah.
Like during COVID was, for us, and there's a lot of people who suffered, but for us it was actually a pretty cool time because we did everything together. So no, we still, kids are older, we still, all the vacations and holidays, it's important that we were together. So it's, that's, if there's anything I'm most proud of, it's just how tight my 4 kids are with each other.
Is everyone in California at the time?
No, we were during COVID?
Yeah.
No, we were in Kentucky, in Louisville.
Kentucky?
Yeah.
That's where you were working last year?
Yeah, with Lou City and Racing.
Before.
Yeah.
But most of your family, they're living
for the most part, everyone else is in Southern California.
Southern California.
Yeah.
So big family. Everyone.
And that's one thing we've missed. My kids, we try to go back for all the big holidays. When they were younger, we used to go back for Christmas, and then actually kids wanted to stay. We started taking our own mini family vacation, our immediate one.
Yeah.
But no, all my family's tight, my siblings, so almost every weekend they're all together.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's 3 of my sisters live almost in the same neighborhood.
Really?
And the 4th one only lives 20 minutes away.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's fun.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we missed that, but yeah.
Now, we're going to go into what you've done as well, but of recently, you, by the time this goes out, you'll be here.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And this is where we're going to go at the
end. Let's do it, yeah.
End of the year. You have moved on.
Yep.
And the reason why I'm bringing it up now is because you mentioned before you had a career that you've met some goals and you haven't gotten to some goals that you wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
But one goal is of yours, you want to be able to now move back to California.
Yep.
You said that your family sacrificed a lot for you as well as you for them. But moving back to California where all your family is, that's most important for you. How does it feel now you're going back to California now to work and to live?
I'm excited, really, really excited. It's my wife and I grew up together, the whole high school sweethearts. So we've always knew at some point we'd move back. You don't know when. We're very happy to, for the most part, raise our family in the Midwest because it's a little bit slower life, economically better. But where we're at now, we felt it was the right time to move back to LA and be around family. And so, we're excited. I mean, on weekends, the neighborhood we're in, literally my younger sister, who's only 15 months younger, she lives down the street.
Yeah.
She has 4 kids. Her husband is a good friend of mine. So all those little things. And then guys I grew up with. I mean, there's a tight group of guys I grew up playing soccer with, went to school with. Mm-hmm. There's 4 of us that grew up with each other, went to the same college, played club together, played university together. So stuff like that's really, really cool. And then just professionally to try something different. It's one of the aspects I've had to learn is, you asked the first question about my identity is not having my identity tied up in just me as a coach, me just being a good person. And I've learned through the ups and downs of coaching that who I am as a person is most important, not my wins and losses, because quite frankly, no one after a while, no one cares. You are judged by that and whatever, and I'm fine with that as when you're a coach, that's part of coaching. But at the same time, it's when you learn, unfortunately, when people pass away, is what people remember is you as a person, not money, not accolades, who you are. And so that's what I try to. I guess the second part of my life now is just continue to focus on that.
Yeah, and before we go into what you do, which is described as secondary to your primary identity,
mm-hmm.
you would have said that you prioritize family, your identity, and you're now moving into trying to tie those things in together.
Yep.
so that, well, you can balance the life, that you can be your true self.
Yep.
You grew up in California, correct?
LA, yeah, Southern California. I mean, if anyone's watching this, it's they call it the 909, the Inland Empire. So it's a little bit technically outside of LA, but if anyone watches this from the Caribbean or whatever, I just say LA.
Gotcha, LA.
Yeah.
And big part of your life that has somewhat seems like it become close to your identity, and have maybe you may say has sculpted your identity because of how long you've been doing it for as a coach and as a player. Is soccer. Your family is big into soccer.
It's everything.
You were a player. I believe, was your wife a player as well?
She was. She played university at Division 1.
And you have 4 kids who are
playing.
Yeah. The youngest one is still playing in high school.
Correct. Yeah.
And the oldest one, is it the son or is it the daughter?
The oldest is son, Sebastian. He plays professionally in New Zealand.
And then there's another boy.
Yeah, Santiago, who's with FC Cincinnati's academy. Yeah.
And Ella.
Ella's in Mexico playing with Pachuca.
Yeah. And what's the younger one?
Emmy. Yeah, she's playing ECNL and all that stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. So both you and your wife, high school sweethearts, playing in high school soccer as well.
Yep.
When you were playing in high school, you would have played and eventually got an offer to move to Fresno State.
Yep.
I want to talk about that for a minute because Fresno State is Division 1 at the time. I wasn't sure how well they were doing at the time now, but what was that whole recruitment process like for you? So
it's bittersweet because at the time Fresno State in the 80s, 90s was a top 10 program in the country. I was lucky to play on a very, very successful youth club team. And we actually won a national championship. So the recruitment process was interesting because at the time soccer was slowly starting to get bigger, and no one really knew what they were doing. Like, college would go out and watch events and stuff like that. So we were lucky because we did have some exposure. And at this time it was slowly like, oh, you should write coaches. And this is back, no internet. Like, you're literally writing letters, put them in the mail, send them off. You get a letter back. Yeah, and you'd have to plan because, like, like, hey, coach, I'm gonna be playing. If say it's August, you have to send. Hey, I'm gonna be playing in late September here. Versus now, you can send a text, whatever, and 48 hours later, here I'm playing. So you'd be really diligent in it. A lot of the budgets for schools weren't huge, so most players stayed pretty regionally. But funny thing is, I always wanted to go to Fresno State because I had cousins that lived in Fresno.
Okay.
And so I used to go visit them. They lived by the university. I knew how good the soccer program was. And it was the coaching staff there at the time. Soccer was everything. So from recruitment, it was, I was fortunate because I played on a club team that won the whole national championship. Yeah. So we were always in the big events, and we did get some eyes on us, and it was pretty straightforward. I think, at that time it was a little bit, I think, still easier because now, every kid's sending a million emails, texts, coaches, postings, and coaches are doing the same thing. So I think it actually gets, it's watered down is not the right word. I think it just gets confusing for everybody because kids think they're getting recruited and they're really not, and so.
But isn't it? Would you say it's the comparison between the two of not then, where it may not be as confusing, but because of how the game has grown over the years, especially the collegiate level, this is where college sports in general, the US, is promoted and prioritized to an extent in comparison to other countries.
Oh yeah.
Do you think with that being the focal point of sports collegiately, it has increased the competitiveness, so therefore players need to find new creative ways of...
look, it, like, society, things change, right? So you have to stay on top of it. Like, I'll be honest, I got out of college coaching because I didn't want to be on Twitter, Instagram, and all that 24/7. I didn't, you know what I mean? And it got to a point, my last year was like, you got to tweet this, you got to do this, you got to tweet this kid, you got to follow this kid. If you don't follow him, And I was like, look, because like, I mean, if this is the kid really needs, like, me calling him should be enough, and having a conversation should be what it's all about. So I still think the essence of recruiting is that, you know what I mean? It's go seeing the kid play, having a conversation, whether it's face to face or a phone call, getting to know that person. I personally think everything else is fluff. You know what I mean? Because if a kid sends you a highlight video, they're going to edit their best moments. So you know what I mean? So, but I would also say that you do have to do it if you're a kid. I mean, it's almost like the expectation. So, actually, like I say, I think it's way harder now.
Really?
I really do. I think it's way, way harder now to get recruited. One, because with the new NCAA rules, coaches recruit globally. So now, when I played, we had foreign players, but it was rare. I mean, it wasn't like our coaches were hopping on a plane.
Were they like exchange students?
Not really. The Division I level constantly, no. It was usually the head coach had a connection from a place and someone they knew. We had a Canadian player, we had a French player, but it was more because the coach knew somebody and they recommended someone he trusted. He didn't even go see them play. They came. Yeah. So, now fast forward from me playing when I was a college coach, there was a period when I was at, especially University of Louisville, UNLV, I flew to South Africa. University of Louisville was in Europe a lot, Germany, Spain, France. Recruiting.
Really?
Yeah. So, now those are, we had big budgets, that. So it's completely evolved. And for kids who are watching this, I think you have to do anything possible to get your name out there. That's the reality of it. And if you sit back and wait, nothing's going to happen.
Now, tie this back into your almost not your identity, but your family, because you have 4 kids that would have played in college before playing professionally, right?
So my oldest son, he signed a scholarship to go to DePaul in Chicago.
Okay.
And then right when he signed, probably a month later, Louisville City signed him to a professional contract.
How was that possible? Are you training with them?
Yeah, he was training he was in the academy for Louisville City. Trained with the first team, did preseason with them, they liked him, and they gave him a professional contract. Now he's still, just so everyone knows, all of our kids, we told him, you can do what you want, but you have to go to university. So he went online and he got his degree.
At the same time?
At the same time.
He would have been 18, 19?
Yeah, he started it when he was 18. He actually finished his degree in 3 years.
Oh,
because he took some honors courses in high school and he had credit. And my daughter, who plays in Mexico, she didn't go to university either. She went out of high school, but she's going to school online right now. So she'll be done probably in a little over a year. And then Santiago, he's going to be a senior. And similar, we just said, look, because things have changed nowadays with online university and all that way. So you can do what you want, obviously, but you got to get your degree.
A senior in high school?
He'll be, So right now he's a junior. In December, he'll be a senior in high school.
He'll be a senior in high school.
Yeah.
But he's playing for
FC Cincinnati's academy. Yeah.
Is he there now in
Correct.
Cincinnati?
Yeah.
What's it like having all 3 of your kids not at home?
Yeah.
What was it like?
That's my wife. No, for me, they're pursuing their dream. Do you miss them? Of course. I really have fun hanging out with my kids, but they have to pursue their dream. And I traveled the country, pursuing my dream. And, when I was playing, I went to Europe for a little bit, went to Mexico pursuing it. So if anything, I'm proud that they have the courage to do that. You know what I mean? Because that's why I actually love international students, because to me, it takes so much courage to go to another country. And you land and boom, you got to figure it out. When you're a student, obviously people are trying to help you, but it's still not the same. So, but I think life-wise, going back to identity, that's going to serve my kids well. It'll serve you well. Coming here. If you end up, going back home, then great. If my kids end up one day want to come back to, we don't have really a hometown because we've moved so much. But if LA is it, great. But we've always encouraged them to go for it.
Yeah, definitely. With your youngest one,
Emmy,
she's playing in high school right now.
Yep.
But do you find that the dynamic with your older ones playing in academies and also professionally, do you think she's looking at them and like, wow, I need to get to that level? Or maybe
No, that's a good question. I laugh because we bring it up with all of our kids.
Yeah.
Tell them, one, you don't have to play soccer because mom and dad did or because dad was a coach or whatever. You know what I mean? And then as the younger ones are watching the older ones, same thing. Like, hey, you know, you do your thing. Mm-hmm. You know, Emmy recently, in December, this coming up fall, she'll be a junior. Mm-hmm. And she had mentioned that she thinks she wants to play in college.
She does.
Yeah. Which is, we said, great. Like, you know, everyone's different. You know what I mean? So, yeah, as a parent, I think it's just important to make sure you're supporting their dream, not your own dream. Yeah. And, all I always tell them, whatever you decide to do, get after it. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's one, like, a rule I have in the house is I don't care what it is. You want to be a chef, be the best chef you can be and study it and learn it. And if you're going to be a footballer, okay, then you better train your butt off and do everything. And at the same time, I don't look, doesn't guarantee you're going to make it, you know, in anything. So, but just continue to get after it and give yourself the best chance to make it.
You have 2 sons, 2 daughters. That's probably like, for me, well, I guess for me, speaking with like my friends and now that some of my friends are going on to get married and kids, and like I'm 21, they're saying, oh, the ideal, the perfect scenario is to have at least 1 daughter and 1 son. You have both, 2 sons.
Who planned
and 2
it? That's another podcast. I'll explain how now.
2 sons, 2 daughters. How old is Sebastian?
21.
21, and is Santiago younger?
He's 17.
17.
Yeah.
He's in high school.
Yeah. So Sebastian's a 2003.
Yeah. Like
2005, Ella. 2008, Santiago. And 2009, Emmy.
2009.
Yeah.
Okay. 09.
Yeah.
Now that they are abroad, well, 3 of them are abroad. 1 is still here. 1 is looking to go to college. Can you say, if they're listening to this before we go into just you, can you say 1 piece of advice now that they have already started to pursue what they want to do, soccer and school?
Like for anyone listening to this, watching this, listening to this?
To just those 4.
Oh, geez. No, the piece of advice is, I mean, get after it. Yeah. I mean, I mean, I know it's very generic, but that when I say that to anybody, the term is, again, it's like, you know, if it's a fitness day, get after it. If it's a soccer day, get after it. If it's a day of rest, like do it right. Like, so just whatever you do, just, you know, get after it. And I always tell them, give yourselves the best chance, because, you know, there's a lot of things that you don't control. Mm-hmm. Majority of life, honestly, you don't control, right? You're a footballer, you don't control your coach's opinion of you. Some coach, you know, and I tell this to any kid I coach, like, just because one coach rates you doesn't mean the next one will, and vice versa. One coach doesn't like you, another coach might, you know what I mean? And there's opinion to it. That's why I love sports, music, art, stuff like that it's not black and white, because what I view as beauty, you could view as ugly, and vice versa. And you know what I mean? And what someone views as challenging, someone views as easy. So it doesn't matter what other people think. Again, as long as you, at the end of it, walk away saying I did everything I could, I truly believe that's what life's about.
Awesome. Yeah. The reason why I asked that question just in a bit more detail is because going forward into this conversation, we're going to talk about how you turn the dad hat off and turn it into a coaching hat. Yeah. But those 2 hats that you put on, do you find yourself coaching your kids, or are you just dad? Well,
ironically, I've coached all of them.
Yeah.
Like legitimately,
I coached all of them.
I mean, I coached them. Like they were on my team. It really wasn't purposeful. Like when I was running the youth academy in Louisville City, like just the way things worked out. Like in the beginning, I had the U19s, and so when Sebastian became a U19, he was with me. Yeah. You know, and then when they were younger, a lot of parents didn't want to coach, so you know they knew I could coach, so then I would. So there's a lot of reasons, but personally, I don't feel like I treated them any different than any other player. That's my own opinion. You'd have to ask them. Mm-hmm. So, you know, my whole thing with any player was, you know, again, you got to work hard. You know what I mean? And if they didn't work hard, I would take them off the field, you know, just like any other kid. And, So I like to think one day when, if you're able to ask them that same question, they would say something similar, that they don't feel like I treat them any different. The hardest part is at home.
Because why?
Because you don't on the field is on the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before I would coach any of them, I said, listen, I'm on the field, I'm going to treat you like anyone else. Yeah. So, but at home, I would be careful not to bring up the game. I let my wife do that. So that is sometimes hard, you know what I mean, is at home. And especially now that they're older, and I don't coach, the older two that are playing, Sebastian, New Zealand, and Ella in Mexico, I do have to find myself, be dad, support them in the whole thing. If they ask, obviously I'll tell them. And sometimes there is times I got to show them out to be like, all right, I'll tell them, hey, I'm just saying this, you should do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Or if they get frustrated with the coach, I will sometimes, probably more than I should, defend the coach. Yeah. Because they'll be, oh, the coach did this. I said, yeah, I go, but this is why. You got to look at it from their point of view. And like, oh, Dad, can't you just support me? I was like, well, yeah, but at the same time, this is probably what, So on the field, in my opinion, it was pretty flawless. I mean, I didn't have in my opinion, a tough time with it.
I got you. Yeah. And I asked that question again. Well, I asked that question in this order because you coach and dad, 4 kids, and your wife also plays soccer. But you were a player before you were a husband and a coach.
Yeah.
Your playing career started, we just said, in high school, Fresno State. After that, you had the opportunity to be drafted.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because something happened in the drafting, from what I've gathered, that didn't go to plan. What was that whole process like?
So this is, again, 97, 98. MLS had just started. So you had, at that point, you had MLS just starting, and then the league, which is now the USL Championship. It was called the A-League, and they were kind of merging in the whole thing. So really, after 97, my senior year, I got drafted by Kansas City Wizards, which is now Sporting KC. And there was only 10 teams in the league. So I went with them all through preseason, the whole thing. I thought I did really, really well. Again, opinion, right? Coach, at the end just said, hey, we love you. We want you to stay. They had a partnership reserve team with a team in Hershey, Pennsylvania, which was at that point was in the A-League. And so we wanted to send you there. You play for them and the whole thing. And I was like, okay, well, screw this guy. If he doesn't like me, then why would I want to stay in the system?
Yeah, and you're 19 years old, so you're...
Oh, well, I was 22.
22.
Yeah, because I graduated from school. Yeah. So then I said no. And then there was a team in Orange County Zodiac, that was in the USL Championship / A-League. They wanted to sign me, so I went to them. But then the MLS at that time, because Kansas City drafted me, I couldn't go to another MLS team. So Galaxy was interested in having me. I trained with them for a little bit, but nobody else could sign me. They kept, even though they didn't want me.
Because you're drafted?
It was a rule back then. They kept my rights for a whole year. So if any team wanted me, they'd have to go through Kansas City to get my rights.
And they didn't do that?
So it would just be, it wasn't easy. So it wasn't just me. Any player that got drafted, got released, that team had the rights to...
So even if you get released, they still have your...
For 1 year.
For 1 year?
Yeah, it was that MLS rule.
So they can just release you if they just don't want to?
And at that time, contracts were semi-guaranteed, for young players.
Really?
Yeah. So actually, not a lot, but for me, playing with Orange County was almost a better thing. You had more freedom and stuff like that. So I ended up playing for 2.5 years with Orange County.
Yeah, and that was in the
A-League. Yeah.
So you could still play with them, but they have your...
So because it was a different league, I could play in that league.
But you couldn't play in MLS.
Correct.
Oh, so the first year you couldn't play with a different team in MLS. Right. Because they had your right.
Yeah.
Is that the same?
No, it's not the same anymore now.
So
it's crazy.
So with the Galaxy, you're training with the Galaxy.
I trained a few times with them, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter because you can play.
Right.
You can play. Wow. So when you got released, How'd you react? Like,
I was actually okay with it because the same thing. I wanted to play.
Just want to play.
I want to play. I mean, at the end of it, it was like, okay, whatever. And nobody knew if the MLS was going to last or not. Yeah, no one. I mean, at that point, there was 10 teams. I think they were adding 2 the next year. And then 2 draw. Like, they added Miami, and I forget who joined with Miami. And then Miami dropped off, and I think Tampa Bay dropped off. I mean, it was... Nobody knew. I mean, no one really knew what was going to happen. And I was like, okay, you know what? I have my college degree. I'm playing. I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
I was in Orange County, which is Southern California. So, family, friends,
So it's not bad.
Well, no, it wasn't. And, the guys in Orange County, almost all from LA, we all knew each other. So it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. And I was like, okay, I mean, I'm playing. Like, you know what I mean?
You played there for... Not too long. How long?
It was about 2 years, and then I got offered a full-time coaching job.
Coaching.
Yeah.
Straight into coach. So you would have played your career until you were, 24, 25?
Yep.
Was it your decision to move into coaching that early?
Yeah, so I had a contract with Orange County. Yeah. Everything was going great. Fresno State, where I played collegiately, out of the blue, I get a phone call one day. The head coach called me up and said, hey, I have an opening. The assistant just left, would you be interested? And I'm like, right away, I was like, yeah, like I said, I love coaching. I was, even with Orange County, I would coach at night, youth soccer and the whole thing. And so talking to people and thinking about it, it was like, okay, I'm not going to be the world's greatest footballer. You know what I mean? It was fun, but to get into Division I full-time as a coach, where I played at, everybody's like, look, you need to do it. So I stepped away from playing. I mean, it wasn't easy because, again, you love playing, but at the same time, I was like, I knew eventually, like I said, I wanted to coach. And in the U.S., because again, no one knew it was MLS, to be a Division I coach was a big deal. I mean, the little things, full-time benefits, health benefits, a salary, like a living salary, and the whole thing. And again, to go back to my alma mater, so yeah, I mean, it wasn't, I want to say it was an easy decision, but at the same time, when I rationally look at it now, friends of mine who were on the team, like, dude, you're crazy. Like, you only have one time to play, and you can always go coach. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I was very realistic. I'm like, I'm a good player, but I'm not going to get transferred to Europe. I'm not going to.
It was an opportunity for you to transfer to a different team, or even.
No, I mean, it was just different back then. Yeah, could you have? Yeah, for sure. But I was a solid player. I mean, I was a defensive midfielder. You know what I mean? And again, there's opinion, right? Could somebody have liked me? For sure, right? But at the same time, it wasn't like, I was gonna, people were knocking down my door for a transfer. Yeah. So it was like just being realistic and being smart about it. It was like, okay, let's take the next step. This is what life's presenting. Let's go for it.
Go for it.
Yep.
And you did. Fresno State assistant coach.
Yep.
24 years?
When I was years old, I was 25.
25.
Yeah.
25. That first year, I don't go off of statistics. I go off how your first experience was.
Yes.
What was your first experience taking on that role as an assistant coach in a Division I?
It was hard because so ironically, there was a couple players that I played with when they were a freshman. Yeah. And I was a senior that were still on the team. Oh. Guys I partied with. So I mean, honestly, so it's one was okay, that separation. So you got to run away, guys I literally partied with, and it's years ago, I was okay, guys, there's the learning side, how to put a proper session together, when to speak, when not to speak. The fun part was I jumped into training almost every day. Yeah. So that was so playing, so that was fun. I got to literally every day. It wasn't just at that point we had a small roster. We had 23 players, I think, and if someone's hurt or whatever. That's the problem, I mean, if we want to play 11v11 almost every day, someone was out or whatever. So that was to have that. So it was more, I did a lot of, I guess you could say, mentoring on the field because I was playing a lot with them and hey, think about this, think about that. The head coach would obviously, at this point, I was young, come up with all the sessions. And he was great. He would slowly allow me to do a little bit more. One day, hey, do the warm up. It's just, okay, but it's even that, it's how do you lead and how do you, right? And then, and just continue to add layers to it. So it was great. The coach, Dave Chesler, he still is a U.S. soccer staff coach for coaching education. So I got to learn a lot, and then the office, like that was the biggest thing. Is like, you need a budget, right? How do you manage right, with administrators, alumni, parents, recruiting. You know what I mean? So
all as an assistant coach.
Yeah. So learning all that was a great foundation. But right away, I was like, okay, this is I knew right away I made the right choice. Yeah. I mean, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. But yes, you just spoke about how you have first experienced as assistant coach, Division 1, at your alma mater. But going forward, looking at the notes that I have on you, you've been in different environments, different organizations, different cultures, different people. I want to know what it's like. One, what it's like to be in different environments for one, and how you were able to adjust.
So I think growing up in a big family was, allowed me to quickly adjust. With 7 kids, you learn real quick. Like, you know what I mean? When you fight for yourself, when you give in, your older brother's kicking your butt, you're gonna shut your mouth. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that was a huge piece of who I am still. We used to go, my mom's from Mexico, my dad's Cuban. We used to go to Mexico all the time, either to visit family. We go down there to give people in need stuff, furniture, food, money. We went up into the hills. And the reason I bring that up is because then you learn what we have, what we don't have, what people have, what makes people happy. I think growing up in Southern California allowed me to be around every culture possible. And that was huge. Grew up in Southern California in football. There's every culture, right? And so you learn different cultures. So I think that really enabled me. And then you look at my coaching voyage, from Central California, Fresno, to Akron, Ohio. You're totally different, to Vegas, totally different, to Louisville, St. Louis. So I think this is why I love football, honestly, is because it's the world's game. And I go back to why I think I love Southern California is they say it's a melting pot, right? And so I think growing up in that environment has allowed me to live in different parts of the country and get along with different people, different cultures, and respect them and understand their point of view. And my parents being immigrants, I mean, I think that's a big piece as well, is that, we're very, very proud of, being American, being raised here. At the same time, we have a different perspective, from other people. But I think that's what coaching / leadership is meeting people where they're at, not where you're at, where they're at. I think that's one of the most important things I learned is you go to someone's house, right? And they're eating food you may not know, like, you eat it. I mean, and that's like I think sometimes Americans don't understand, growing up in different cultures and different countries, like, you don't eat, it's rude. So it doesn't matter what it was, you eat it, and who you talk to in different cultures and all those little things. I love, that's one thing I love about, living in different parts of the U.S. If you would have told me 20 years I would be living in Tulsa, Oklahoma at one point, I'd said, no way. But now I can say, I understand what people in this part of the U.S. are like. So
why they come here as well.
Yeah, different reasons and what people are looking for in life and what they're not looking for and what makes them happy. It's always learning. But that's why I love, probably more than anything, it's why I love football is because of just, like they say, it's the world's game. It's a cliche, but I think it's awesome about that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. I don't like to be too biased about, because this podcast is for every individual in sport, different athletes and different coaches, anyone involved. But I do believe, and I like to share my 2 cents on what football,
soccer.
I used to call it soccer. What football has done for me, and the people I've been able to meet you and meet everyone around me, and talking about the environments is really, that's what it is about.
So I travel a lot around the world.
Yeah.
And my wife even laughs at me because she's a little more shy. Like, I'll walk up, there's a match going on, I'll walk up, even when you don't know the language, you start playing a little bit, and you're a friend.
It's almost like a language.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember one time when I was a little kid, probably 10, 11 years old, we were in Mexico, and we were just on there on holiday, actually, and my parents drove by, a dirt field, like we weren't on the resort or anything, and a game going on, and my dad's like, "You want to go play?"
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, "Oh, yeah." She threw me out there. And 10, 11 years old, just played a pickup game in a dirt field in Mexico, and right away, like, you start playing.
Yeah.
I was one of the best moments I've had in Louisville when I first got there. I was doing a lot of community outreach, and I'd go to different organizations had their community centers. And so we did, whether there's an African one, we don't usually play futsal because they had little courts and whatever. And I would almost every week go to a different ethnic community center, and right away you bring that soccer ball out and everyone starts playing. Yeah, I mean, I've seen girls play with boys who culturally that's not acceptable, and breaking down those barriers because of football. I mean, and so, I've always loved, I probably missed that part of it, if anything. Like, if you were to ask me 5 years from now, I would hope that I'm doing probably a lot of community, call it outreach, service, whatever, using soccer. And not for monetary, and just because I think there's nothing cooler when you just show up with a ball somewhere and then you just get every type of person playing.
Giving back.
Yep.
Definitely. Is that what you see yourself in the next couple of years?
I would love to. I mean, it's one of my dreams is, I don't know, you call it, start a foundation, start something that, and if it's nothing more than just having people be happy, it doesn't, like at first, like, oh, you got to raise money for this. But I think if you can just bring joy and just, and just go somewhere and, bust a ball out and start playing. And if it's an hour of joy for those people, then great. So that's something I definitely want to do. And, I don't say no, I will do. I mean, I think using the power of football to bring people together is huge.
We go straight into the quick fire questions.
Yes.
And these ones, I like these ones.
These are fun.
These are pretty fun. I'm gonna best team you've coached, best group of guys, just based off of their personalities and who they are. So
it was at Louisville City in the academy. It was the U19s. 2002, 2003 age group, diverse group, which was huge. Like, everyone joked to me, like, I mean, we had so many different ethnicities, talented group, coachable group, a group that would hold each other accountable, good footballers, hands down, like my funnest experience. Like, I loved coaching them.
Really?
Yeah, and they were clowns, they were funny. Like, would argue with them, fight with them, love them. And a lot of them grew up, again, just because of their backgrounds. Like, parents didn't travel a lot. We'd have a van full of the guys. Yeah. It was hands down my best experience.
On that note, best team you've coached, but just best players quality in terms of.
Yeah. Well, when I was assistant at University of Louisville. We went to the national championship, 2015. From that group, I mean, there's a picture. We played UCLA in the semis, I think it was. And there's a picture of the game, and there was, I think, of the 22 players, like 20 between the two teams, like 20 of the guys went pro. Really? Yeah, I mean, it was, So the University of Louisville 2015 team. 2010. 2010, my bad. Yeah, we were undefeated, and unfortunately we lost in the last game.
Against
Akron.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, ironically, the head coach and I left Akron. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was, I mean, the super talented, really good group, very motivated. They're winners. Like, they knew how to win games. Yep.
What are your 3 non-negotiables as a coach?
You probably know. First one would be work hard. Like, absolutely work hard. Second would be a good person. Those 2, I would say, more than the 3 is just, and I would even say 1 is be a good person. You know what I mean? And I think that was, I always talk about just, and that comes in different ways. I mean, sometimes you have to be mean to be a good person. You know what I mean? If I'm trying to get the best out of you as a teammate, sometimes I got to be really hard on you, and that's you being a good person because you care, right? And then I have no time for anybody who doesn't work hard. Like, it's not a talent thing. That's a decision. So those two things are the non-negotiables for me.
Yep. Recruit talent or develop talent. Which one?
Depends on
college coach.
There you go.
Yeah.
You have to recruit talent, especially in the college setting. Not that you can't develop players, but you can make a player better, right? But it's only to a certain extent at that age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no, you have to recruit talent. I mean, talent wins. You know what I mean? Now again, if you're asking me that same thing, like, at the youth academy level and stuff like that, I would flip it. Mm-hmm. But at the college level, yeah, you mean, and not that, it's not college football, basketball you have to win now, but you got to win. You're at that, to me, that point, winning is absolutely part of it. So
definitely.
Talent, you got to have talent.
Tactical system or allow players to play with freedom?
So what I would say is I would like to say allow the players with freedom, right? But at certain points, again, depending on the age, there's got to be a tactical system. Yeah. I don't think there's any perfect system. I do think a system, should revolve around your players to some degree, right? Again, it depends on where you're at. Are you at a pro team where you can buy players for your system? Do you inherit a team? So there's a lot of factors, but overall, my ideal answer would be, allow the players to play with freedom and, but that's very rare.
Yeah.
Especially the pro level. Yeah.
MLS is finally competing with Europe for talent. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah. I do think, in 5 to 7 years, I think MLS will be a top 5 league. I do. I think living in this country, the infrastructure they're building. Now I think it's going to, we need more American players to come through, but I just think, if you're a player and, when everything comes with it, they got to relax some of the rules, salary-wise, because that is, if you're a player, players have a short career and they should maximize their earning potential. Yeah, and that is the one thing right now MLS is a little bit lacking. And I understand why they've had these salary restrictions, but to take that next step, they're going to have to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah. Especially with the how many years the contract is.
Yeah.
VAR is hurting the flow of the game. Yes or no?
No, I like VAR.
Like VAR.
Yeah.
Especially now in the US, it's different where they have like the mics, the refs. Mic.
Yeah, I just think you're never gonna have it at the youth level or even college. They're trying to get a little bit, but
they might.
Yeah, they're trying, but I think it's no. Look, there's too much on the line.
Too much.
I think you have to. If you have the technology, you got to use it. There's too much on the line. I mean, there's decisions that could affect people's careers and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm all for it.
They can't go back because the argument was getting rid of it, but you can't go back.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to use a better one. Let's see. Best player you played with.
It's funny because I don't know, best players or guys I enjoyed playing with. There's a friend of mine in college, Mike Matson. I love playing with him.
Yeah.
Like he and I just clicked.
Play next to you?
He was a forward winger, attacking mid. I was a holding mid. Just really enjoyed playing with him. There's just, I don't know, we just kind of flowed. So he would be kind of top of my head, I guess you could say.
But there's a difference between who you enjoy with and
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like there's guys who are like super talented. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's, you're like, but I'd rather enjoy playing with somebody that's more important as a player.
I think so too. Best player you've ever watched live?
Yeah. Live. I mean, I've seen Messi live in Barca. I mean, so it's hard. I know. Yeah. I'm just trying to think because, like, Maradona is my favorite player. But I never got to see him play live. Unfortunately, the 94 World Cup, after a few games in there on the East Coast, he got banned. But I played against George Hadji.
Yeah,
No. George Hagi was Romanian, played for Barca. So when Romania was here for the '94 World Cup, I got to play in a friendly game against Romania.
Really?
And he look him up, George Hagi.
George Hagi.
Yeah. He was
sounds familiar.
Big time.
Yeah.
He was a Romanian guy. So.
What's the craziest experience you've had as a coach? Could be from the practice, in the game, dealing with the player. Craziest experience.
Jeez. I don't know. Nothing, honestly, nothing. I'm trying to think. Nothing sticks out as like, wow, this is crazy. I mean, there's games like going back to Akron, the quarterfinal of the NCAA tournament 2010. We played in crazy snow, like a blizzard.
Really?
Yeah, 4-3 game. Like the game started off, it wasn't snowing. By the end of the game, field was covered. Like, so that was like, that sticks out in my head. Stuff like that. Got to play against. Actually, an interesting one was I was a regional ODP coach in the U.S. We used to have this program called Olympic Development Program. I think it was 2006 or 7. We were in Italy. I was a head coach playing a big tournament there. We were playing Juventus. And this kid, Danny Cruz, who now is the head coach at Louisville City, was on our team as a forward. And he was having his way with Juventus, literally. And during the game, towards the end,
really?
We're sitting in our dugout and guy comes and taps us on the shoulder and they say 5, no more. That was Danny. He had scored 2 goals. So they were asking us to take him off because he was killing them.
Juventus?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was a U19 event.
U19?
Yeah.
And they're beating Juventus?
We were beating Juventus, yeah. And this kid Danny was crushing it. And all of a sudden, like me and the staff there, the guy just like, hey, 5, no more. I'm like, we think he wants him off. Like no way. That was pretty cool.
Too many youth coaches focus on winning over development. Do you agree? Youth coaches?
No, I think winning's important.
Yeah, you need to win.
I think you have to learn how to win. I think in this country the problem we're having is people either are just all about winning or all about development. I think you got to meet somewhere in the middle because winning is a life skill. So I think it's just a matter though of finding the right balance.
Playing with pressure or coaching with pressure, which one would you rather take on?
Both. Yeah, I think it's part of it.
Which one's easier to deal with?
Playing, for sure.
Playing with pressure is easier.
Yeah, because coaching, when the game starts, you really don't control it. You're trying to, but you don't. Yeah.
What if you're playing in a system that if you're playing a system that you don't like, you can't control that.
As a player?
Yeah.
I'm a big believer. I still think you can find a way to,
But the players, you have control over it if you're a coach. But
you don't have the control of the players' actions.
Of the players, exactly.
Like someone makes a mistake, as a coach, you get blamed.
Yeah.
But that's part of it. But it's nothing. It's like I always tell people like, don't belly a coach. I'm like, like you think you want that guy to make a mistake, or you think you told of course not. You know what I mean? And as to say, it always stuck with me. Players win games, coaches lose games. So if a team loses, who gets that fault usually? Coach. Oh, they should have done this. When they win, but he's got good players and he's got this guy.
Did you see that as a player?
Now
that you're a coach.
Kind of. When you lose, you always blame the coach.
Yeah.
It's natural. Yeah. Coach sucks. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why do you sub this? They should play this.
Now do you kind of sympathize? A little bit.
It's part of it.
It's part of it.
It's part of it. It's part of it. You don't get into it if you don't understand that.
And the higher level, the higher you go, the more scrutiny.
Yeah.
The more intense it is.
Yeah.
All inside the game and outside the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
One of my last 2 quick fire questions is your last role or your current role is technical director. Is that role misunderstood, or do you think it's understood to an extent?
I think it's so vague that it can go both ways, right? I think if you ask somebody in general, what's a technical director do? You're probably going to have, as many people as you ask, you'll have different answers, right? Because I don't think there's one right or wrong answer to that role. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where sometimes it gets, for clubs, tricky, is if the management above doesn't correctly define that role for that club, then you can be in a really weird spot, because it can go so many different ways, the technical director role. And so I think that's I think the most important thing is, what is ownership at the pro level, right? What do they want out of that role? Yeah, because there's not a right or wrong way. It's just, what do they want?
I got you. This one, last one. Last quick fire question.
Yeah.
ID camps. Now that you've been at, many different universities, coaching as well as assistant and as a head coach.
Yep.
ID camps.
Yep.
An opportunity or just a fundraiser?
That's both. I mean, let's be so. Yeah, I mean, do they make money? Of course, right? But life, I don't have any problem with it, because people make money of anything, right? It's like saying, you're selling food. Are you providing, I mean, people need food. So are you providing them an opportunity to nourish their body, or are you making money off of it? Well, yeah, you're both. They need food. So if you're a grocery store or someone on a, side of a road selling fruit, right? Well, you have to make a living. That person needs, so you know what I mean? Versus like, oh, you should just give it to them. Well, right? So these ID camps, like, yeah, I mean, someone's providing a service, so they should be paid. And I always tell people, it's worth it for the participant if they get recruited. So if you're the one kid that gets recruited, you're going to be like, yeah, it was worth it. It was great.
Yeah.
Right? If there's 100 kids and one gets recruited, 99 don't, they're going to say, oh, this sucks. Right? So, but to me, it's no different. You go to a big youth soccer showcase tournament. Your club goes, and there's 100 teams there. The percentage of kids that are going to get a scholarship is probably the same percentage as the kids that get a scholarship at that ID camp. When you add up all those kids on all these teams, say there's 1,000, right?
Yeah.
And so if only 10 kids get an opportunity from that showcase, right?
It's a very small percentage, yeah.
Right. It's always a small percentage. So, yeah. So like I said, I always, parents, when I was a college coach all the time, well, I don't know if it's worth it. I'm like, yeah, if you didn't make it, you can argue it's not. Yeah. If he made it, he's going to say absolutely it was worth it. Look, if you have the economics to afford it, I always tell kids, go. If you don't, you don't. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's just the way it is. And I think it's for every level of the game. I mean, pro clubs are doing it now, where they'll have combines and they'll charge a little bit and stuff like that. And some are free, some aren't. You know what I mean? But it's how it goes. I mean, it's free enterprise, and so
it is still an opportunity.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. Yeah.
We're gonna quickly run through your experience after Akron.
Yeah. But
obviously, like I said before, the facts are there. I want to know, one, I now know who Mario is.
Yeah. And
I know what he has done. But the areas I would ask you about are more so about the experiences and the takeaways from those experiences.
Yep.
So after that, going from Akron, you moved to Vegas.
UNLV, yep.
UNLV.
Yeah.
And UNLV, you moved down to Louisville after that, right? And Louisville, you moved to here.
No, Louisville to SIUE. SIUE back to Louisville.
Back to Louisville.
Louisville here.
Not here.
Yep.
Moving across the country, like we spoke about, different environments. What was the biggest takeaway? And this is a very general question.
Yeah.
But the biggest takeaway that you've had coaching different ages, different players, coaching with different head coaches and different assistant coaches. What's the biggest takeaway that you've been able to get from those experiences?
I think one, you have to adapt to your surroundings, right? The cultures around you, while kind of the first question you asked me, being true to you as your identity. So you can't come into the Midwest, right? When I left Fresno and going to Akron, in Fresno we had a lot of Hispanic players, right? Technical. Akron had a lot of, they were technical but stronger Midwest guys, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, you got to respect, the type of players you have, the type of culture you have, and then can you add your own little flavor from what you learn, right? But you got to respect the culture you're in. So I think that's just the biggest thing is, making sure that you're adapting while not just giving up your own identity. I think that's really, really important.
Definitely. And going on from that, you taking on a role. You need to see that here.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Going on from that, you've moved on to taking on a role in a USL team.
Yeah.
This is not it's not your first USL team.
I was with Lou City off and on, like helping off and on. Yeah.
But now, I want to know what your stance is on the USL and the MLS in terms of soccer going forward, football going forward, soccer here. What do you think the direction is? You mentioned
I think
before,
So I think MLS is, like it's a different type of structure of a league, ownership. There's again rules that were implemented, to make sure the league survives, because there's been a lot of leagues years ago in the U.S. that failed. So I think they created a good structure. Look, it's still around and they're growing, so obviously they're doing the right thing. Now I like to see them loosen up some of the financial structures in place to allow teams to, look, if an owner is a multi-billionaire and he wants to go out and sign, the whole, the Messis and the Beckhams, like, you know what I mean? You're almost punishing the rest of the team, because now you have the salary cap that it's hard to bring other good players along with them. So, let an owner, do what they need to do, kind of like the rest of the global game. To me, the USL is the opposite, where they're almost too loose. I think they need more structure, and I think there need to be a set of parameters about, every club needs to have X for a training facility. You know what I mean? One designated training field, a locker room. Like there's some clubs that still don't have, a proper training facility. What the requirements for a stadium. I think, USL needs to kind of button that up a little bit. So I just think, both of them kind of went to different extremes. USL is like, okay, hey, you know what? We're going to allow you to do what you want to do. You know what I mean? They obviously have some regulations, but they're a lot looser, and MLS is over here. So I think both of them coming closer together would benefit the game.
Do you think coming closer is the new idea and a new opportunity, which is going to happen pretty soon, where there's going to be a new league where there's promotion, relegation?
So they'll never combine MLS and USL. There's too much money involved and too many different ideas and structurally. So now with the USL's idea about creating a USL Premier League, I get it, right? It's another layer. Same time, you could argue, look, because they're going to have, like I talked about, different standards for that. You know what I mean? And it's going to be more regulated. Okay, that's great. Why not just do that with the USL Championship now? Maybe some owners don't want that, and there's meetings obviously I'm not in that, I would think those would be discussed. Do I think promotion relegation is good? Of course. I think, the average American business person, right? Mm-hmm. Just, if you're asking, San Diego, I think it was over $1 billion for them to get in MLS, right? Between the entry fee and what they're building. If you say, hey, you're going to spend $1 billion, and then the next year when you enter the league, you could be relegated, they're like, forget it. No way I'm going to do that. So I understand if you're MLS, why there's never going to be promotion relegation. And I do think that USL does have an opportunity. So I think it's cool. Like, this country is unique because it's so big. I think you can do both. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think there's an opportunity for it. So I'm more of like, look, the more opportunities for soccer players, coaches, and the sport to grow, the better. And kind of like you see, we'll see who's. I think both will survive. You know what I mean? And I think they'll have their own unique landscape.
Right. Yep. We'll see. That's what it is for right now. We'll see what happens with what's going on with the football here. Yeah. But Mario, everything that you've given and shared with me, I'm able to share with kids and share with business owners and share with athletes that can give them some type of insight of what it's like at a higher level of wherever they are, or a different level wherever they are. And I can't say enough to say thank you for coming on and sharing this experience. Yeah, that's all I have for you. And I know you're busy, so I was able to get all the questions done as fast as possible. But thank you.
No, it was awesome. I love talking, and even though I always say time restraints, but once I get going, and I wish you the best of your luck in your career. You have a very natural flow to what you're doing. You're very comfortable, and wouldn't be surprised to see you, either behind a camera running everything or sitting where you're now and, running your own show. And
thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
That's it.
Awesome.